Ladies and gentlemen, Season 2, Episode 14, Pregame Show. Nate, how are we doing, bud?
Oh, fantastic, dude. I mean, we've got the 15,000th snowstorm in the last 5 days. It's been absolutely outrageous out here.
I can't remember a winter this bad in Nova Scotia, and that just might be ignorant of me to say. I've spent some time around the country, but man, we've been hammered.
Oh, dude, I remember saying like before the winter, someone was like, "Oh man, winter's gonna suck." I'm like, "Oh, dude, winters aren't even that bad anymore. Like we don't even get snow and anything." And then like I don't know if like somebody up above was just like, "Nah." Like, well, this year is gonna be brutal because it's been insanity.
It has been one of the worst. Yeah, I was stuck at home for almost 2 days straight.
Yeah.
And it was brutal, man. I'm so excited for summer. I have never been so ready for the snow to leave. It just feels like it's like we're living in the Arctic right now. It's like -10 at the highest, and that's Celsius for all you American listeners. And and yeah, Nate, like you said, it's been, I think 4 of the last 5 weekends we've been peppered with at least 25 to 30 centimeters.
I think you're correct. Yeah, it's been wild, man. I just can't believe it. There has been so little things going on, like other than like work wise, that it's like, you know, there's nothing to do.
No, it's just it. But I know you were trying to kind of get into the mix, into the social scene last night, and how was the theater experience?
Well, you know, so I go out, I'm trying to get to the new Jackass film, Forever. You know, I was like, I haven't been to the theater in like 2 years because of COVID, so may as well get in there, see this movie. It's bound to be hilarious, all-time classics. I walk into this theater, dude, and I don't know what is going on now with like COVID has completely destroyed it. I walk in there, I'm in there for no more than 2 seconds. I'm getting hounded by the woman at the front desk going, "Need to see your vaccine passport," like laying out all the rules. I'm like, holy smokes, dude, like, this isn't even a theater anymore. Anyway, she keeps going. She's like, "You can't eat or drink in the theater." I'm like, "You're telling me I can't get popcorn for the movie?" Like,
it's one of the sole purposes you go to the theater.
That's why I was going to the theater. It's like I get my popcorn, I get my Coke slushie.
Yeah, you dummy them before the previews are done.
Yeah, then you walk back out and pay another $79.95 and get 2 more.
100%.
But anyway, so she's going off, and like she was a bit much, like kind of in my face. You know what I mean? Like it was just like kind of, and I was just like, "Why can't you eat in the theater?" She's like, "Oh, it's just like one of the mandates." I'm like, "That is the worst mandate I've ever seen." One, we're all split. She's like, "Yeah, we're only open for takeout." I'm like, "Takeout?"
Yeah.
It's a movie theater. Who's getting takeout? You gonna go in and get popcorn and a pop?
Yeah, that's tough. It's gonna be interesting to see. I've had some off and on theater experiences as well, Nate. You know, I think back to some times I've been to a theater and there was a sketchy individual sitting in front of me all alone in like a trench coat.
What?
And it may not have been a trench coat, but it was a sketchy individual. And I had the most paralyzing anxiety the entire film. I couldn't even watch the film.
Right,
my eyes were on this guy.
Yeah, because you're like looking at the movie, you're like, haha, then you like kind of just like eye check the guy. You're like, all right, he's still sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta watch him.
You know, and if he gets up to use the washroom, like I'm like out of there. And yeah, I mean, it's such an odd place. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, with today's day and age, with people, you know, having access to all of, you know, these subscription based platforms with Crave and Netflix and Hulu and everything, and their access and their platforms with offering movies, it'd be interesting to see if theaters survive this.
I don't see there being any shot.
Yeah, it's hard
just
to,
like, because apparently they don't really make any money unless it's off concessions. But if they can't even sell concessions when people are like slowly going to the movie, like, they're making no money right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's anyway. I ended up not even going to the film.
Yeah,
because I was like, man, I'm not like gonna sit there. Oh, here's another crazy thing about it too, like just these kind of how these rules are. But anyway, so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna suffer through. Like I'm coming out to enjoy it. Like I'm not wearing a mask in this theater for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Sitting there, dry little room. There was an older gentleman in front of me.
Yeah.
And the woman's like going off at him about something like you can't have your drinks and shit. She made him take his water bottle out to the car. Couldn't even bring in a bottle of water.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is this North Korea or the theater? Like it's insanity.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, I mean, there's just really no point. I mean, you got to go for the full experience of, like you said, dummy and popcorn, dummy and slushies, just dummying all the treats while, taking in a film that's not released yet. And yeah, I mean, I would have done the same thing. They probably headed directly out of there. Those are outrageous rules. Outrageous.
Oh, man, it's terrible. It kind of just ruined my whole night, honestly.
I just don't even know why you would even open up the theater.
That's what I mean. Just keep it shut.
Keep it shut until restrictions ease and everything like that. But no, Nate, we got an exciting episode ahead. So the pregame show is coming to a conclusion. We got quarter one. We're talking NHL. It's been a big week in the NHL. Obviously, All Star Weekend in Las Vegas. We'll head into the NFL. We'll talk about some interesting, progressions there with a lot of head coaches being signed to teams with a lot of firings. We'll set up the Super Bowl. We're having Brad Evans on Friday of next week to break down the Super Bowl for us. We'll have the halftime show. Fan favorite playbook, Nate.
Oh, it should be a good one.
Should be a fantastic one.
Questions all juiced up. Let's rock.
Absolutely. And in quarter three, we're heading into the NBA. Break down the latest news around the NBA. Big trade happened in the landscape. And then we'll finish off quarter four, Nate. We'll be bringing out the PGA Olympics and some UFC. Our guy Sam Alvey, former guest on the podcast, fought last night. We'll see how he did. But Nate, quarter one of episode 14, season 2 of the Daily Intermission. We're talking NHL, and we're starting things off with the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago Blackhawks this week hosted a town hall. I'm not sure if I've ever in my life heard of any professional teams hosting a town hall.
Yeah, so I'm just like, do the Blackhawks have a town hall, or this is at like town hall in Chicago? I'm assuming town hall in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, right? It's just kind of the name for the supporters and the investors and just the community to come in and ask questions surrounding the organization. And we all remember, one of the biggest stories in sports this year were the horrible things that came out about Kyle Beach, and obviously that was at the forefront of the questions, being peppered at Rocky Wirtz, the owner of the Chicago Blackhawks, and this family has been in the National Hockey League for I think over 90 years. I mean, billionaires. Obviously, in recent history, the Chicago Blackhawks have kind of been the poster boy team. Winning 3 Stanley Cups it's almost like all of that success is erased due to all of the things that have come out with that organization. So a couple of the media members posed the question by saying, what are you doing to combat the power imbalance that we've seen between management and players, and what are you doing moving forward to make sure that players feel safe in your organization?
Yeah, it was just kind of a weird response too. I mean, he kind of got angry. He said, not to like completely quote him, but he was like, we're not talking about the Kyle Beach thing.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's like, it's just kind of such a weird look, because if you're going to say you're being more inclusive and stuff, but then you won't even speak of it.
Weird look.
You know what I mean?
This is why you're having the town hall.
Well, yeah, exactly.
This is the reason why people are there, is to hear about what changes have been made in your organization.
You got to be prepared for the question. You had to know it was coming.
And they were. His son was about to dive in, and they are doing fantastic things in the organization. His son tries to dive in. Rocky cuts him off. I believe it's Jennifer Faulkner was up on stage with Eddie Olczyk as well. I'm not sure the capacity which they work in the organization, but they were all looking at Rocky Wirtz going, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you got to just tone it down a bit, because it's just going to be the same. You know what I mean? We're going to get in more trouble here.
Oh my goodness.
This is the worst public relations. Like,
you're going to tarnish our image.
Exactly.
Tarnish our image.
Yeah.
And so I think it's this billionaire who's been spoiled and handed an NHL team, and he's sick and tired about hearing about this player that he had to pay millions of dollars to.
That he doesn't really care,
No, like, and it was a terrible look. So Gary Bettman and is it Bill Daly, Nate, his assistant? Bill Daly, so they have a press conference every All-Star weekend, and obviously this happens the night before the press conference. Nightmare fuel for the press conference for Gary Bettman. Obviously Gary was fully supportive of Rocky, in the sense where he said he had a moment, he had a bad day, we all have them. Rocky released his apology, but he was such an outrageous, such a weird thing. I mean, one was the town hall. I've never seen the likes. I mean, typically they're called press conferences in sports.
Generally.
And obviously too, this question, like Nate said, you have to be fully prepared for. This is the biggest story in sports in this past 3-4 months, and to kind of just shrug it off and get blow the top off things, get very visually upset and say we're not talking about it. Horrible look for the Chicago Blackhawks. Horrible look for the organization, and we'll see. In the coming days, coming weeks, what Rocky Wirfs has to say about that outburst.
Yeah, I mean the Blackhawks haven't had a whole lot of positive things going their way. I mean, even with the team wise, I mean everything that's going on. I also wanted to touch on Bettman's remarks too at the All Star Game. He had a bit of an interview. Not sure if you saw that, but he was just kind of showing his frustration with the Canadian government and how.
Yep.
I mean, like obviously we all know there's no fans in the crowd. It's just kind of going on, and meanwhile in the States, it's just kind of like, I mean, look at the Vegas thing. I mean, they have the All Star Game, no issues at all.
Yeah. I mean, life's normal in the United States, it seems like, for the most part. And like you said, he's frustrated. I mean, we're draining money here in Canada with having no fans and empty buildings. And actually, the Ottawa Senators and Eugene Melnyk reached out to Gary Bettman to see, the possibility of playing in the States, because an organization like Ottawa, obviously, we know, they struggle to fill the building in the greatest of times. And right now, with no fans, they're really bleeding, and they wanted to move to the States. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen, but the Canadian government, I mean, the pressures around Canada right now. There's a protest in Toronto, a protest in Ottawa. I'm sure everyone's aware of, and it's going to be interesting to see what the move is. I mean, people are sick and tired of it. I mean, we've done everything the governments have asked. Yeah. I'm not going to pick a side here, but I think it's certainly time to start easing restrictions and kind of dealing with life with COVID as nations around the world are doing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely time to move along. I mean, I just find it absolutely wild that when you look at the Canadian games, there's just nobody there, and it's like, man, we can't be doing this again.
Yeah.
We got to just move along with it. Like, if you want to go to the game, you should be able to go to the game. And if you're kind of afraid of it, or if you don't want to go, then that should be your choice as well. Like, you don't have to, but you shouldn't be. I feel like not that no one should be able to go.
Yeah,
it should be like a choice
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of choices that human beings make, and have been kind of dictated by the government lately. But we're not going to get into that, Nate. No. That's not what we do on the Daily Intermission podcast.
It's far from it.
But yeah, it's All Star Weekend in Las Vegas for the National Hockey League, and Nate, I mean, the skills competition on Friday, a few outrageous things happened. I mean, I thought there were some improvements in some areas. I thought some areas were very clownish and very cartoonish to me. But we'll start things off with the fastest skater. What did you think? Some cool. I mean, shout out to Jordan Kyrou. I mean, winning and a guy who's he made a name for himself this weekend. He's having a hell of a season. But for the casual NHL fan, they may not know of Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah, he's World Junior gold medalist 2018.
Yep.
He's had a terrific season. What did he finish with, like a 13.550, I think it was?
Yep.
Anyway, he ended up winning it over Connor McDavid, which is crazy. A lot of the commentator guys, I was listening to the States feed, and they were saying he was the sleeper pick.
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, we're all over him. I think they might have bet on it as well, so they cashed out on that. But yeah, I mean, the fastest skater is always a good event. You get the good.
Fantastic.
But the best part about the fastest skater is you've actually got fastest skaters.
Yes.
Opposed to another event we'll touch on in a moment. But I find it crazy that McDavid didn't win. It's just so wild, because when you're looking at somebody in top speed, I had when you said Kuznetsov, you're like, I might sprinkle him. I was like, man, when he gets going at top speed, he's so fast. He was out there for a gallop.
Yeah,
he wasn't even trying.
A couple of the guys, like Chris Kreider, started things off. It didn't look like he was absolutely giving her. Actually, none of them really looked like they were absolutely giving her.
Larkin kind of tripped up on the wall.
Yeah,
too.
he
He
did.
could have had a better time.
But I mean, it's an extremely exciting event, and obviously shout out to Jordan Kyrou. Yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid, 3-time winner, but he will be looking aside and giving the crown to Jordan Kyrou for this year. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't mind. This is the way I wanted to see it change, Nate. We'll talk about it as we further talk about the events, but go through the league and make this All-Star event, and you tried to incorporate some things that the NBA does. We'll get into the breakaway challenge later, but bring in the guys who have had the fastest times in skating throughout the league. Bring them in for the fastest skater. Like, let's crown the fastest skater in the NHL. And same with hardest shot.
Yeah, and you've got the tracking abilities now,
Oh, exactly.
You have all the player tracking, all the puck tracking. Like, who's out there who's got top speed this year. So let's just bring them in. Just bring them in for the event.
Yeah, pre-event, they were showing each individual who was fastest, who was clocked fastest. I was actually surprised with Cale Makar. He wasn't faster, but I bring up a point, Nate. A lot of these times, I mean, they are with the puck.
Yes.
I think I would argue that Connor McDavid has to be the fastest with the puck and handling the puck.
100%.
Yeah.
I think Timo Meier actually came in at the fastest during the season on
I think you're
random
right.
tracking
I
thing.
think you're right.
Which sometimes when I'm looking at guys, like, I wouldn't think that Meier stands out to me as like a super fast guy, and another guy I wouldn't think that stands out just from like the eye test is Larkin.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Just like when I'm watching a Red Wings game, like he doesn't stand out as like a speedster to me.
For sure.
For some reason.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And Nate, we'll move into, this is somewhere where the NHL should have to improve, I think, is incorporating the top goaltenders in the world and trying to showcase them, you know, in a further fashion, or just, you know, at a larger magnitude, because the save streak that they've got going, I mean, it's so, you know, they're not at the advantage of the best players in the world coming down on them and just, you know, breakaway after breakaway after breakaway. I mean, you know, how realistic is a goaltender getting a breakaway in a game once, twice a game?
Yeah.
You know, we've got to try to, I was thinking like maybe the horseshoe, and then you just got guys just absolutely ripping shots at them and like, you know, one after another, and then save streak like that. But I don't know. I mean, I think there's got to be a change and try to showcase the best goaltender. I didn't like the tandem either. You know, Vasilevsky and Campbell ended up getting 9 saves in a row. But I mean, they've got to change up and try to showcase the goalies on a bigger pedestal.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure how to go about it. I saw some people comment on our Instagram, like even like getting them the fastest skater or something like that. You know, with the goalies. But it's like, how are you going to get the goalies ripping around with pads on?
No, it's just like, that's just not relevant at all.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just probably potentially dangerous. Them cutting the corner like that. With the pads just catching up, going into the boards.
It's like you'll know the goalie's going to skate fastest to the bench when they pull the goalie. Like that's the only time they skate.
Yeah, or if there's a loose puck like getting chipped down, you know, there's a like race for it. It's like, well, I'm not going for it. That's Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
He won the competition. Yeah.
But yeah, the save streak obviously was the second event, and the hardest shot, Nate. And the hardest shot is I mean, that to me is one of the best events.
It's the marquee event. The hardest shot.
Who can absolutely rip a bomb? And they've got 4 guys in the event. What a missed opportunity for the NHL.
I know. Is it not? Like, I feel like before there was more people than 4.
Yes.
Was there not? Like
100%.
I'm not sure what was going on there.
But it's like they're around the idea. It's like yeah, okay, everybody's got to be in one event, but why can't Stamkos do the hardest shot and the aces? Like, why can't people do 2-3 events? Like, you're not hurting anybody's feelings by putting Nick Suzuki in one event and another guy in 3 events. Like, you know, you're showcasing the highest talent.
Yeah, like I didn't even think about that. Like, Stamkos has got to be there for that.
100%.
Like, as soon as they were going up, I was like, I don't know what the Vegas odds are on Victor Hedman, but I would put the farm on him. 100%. Like, there's no shot he was losing that.
No, he wasn't. Like, I mean, they all got over 100, which is awesome. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Nate, I mean, there's got to be more than 4 guys, and there's plenty of guys in that All Star game who can absolutely rip the puck, and you've got to see how fast they can shoot. We want to know.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I think it would have been a different story too if like Ovechkin was there instead of Wilson, because you kind of would have had that like kind of like that 2-headed monster going there with Hedman and Ovechkin. But you know, who are the other 2 shooters again? I completely blanked.
Pelech.
Pelech,
Wilson, Hedman, and Timo Meier.
Okay, I thought Timo Meier went. Yeah. See, like that is just like. That might be the worst hardest shot in the history of hardest shots.
100%.
Like, no disrespect to these guys, but like...
They all got over 100, but I mean, yeah, you got to bring in the guys who have recorded the hardest shots in the league and let them fire pucks. And like, they don't have to be in the game or whatnot, but like, you've got to make this skills weekend, because that's the marquee event for them. The game is a joke. I mean, you can improve the game, I think, by going conference versus conference and trying to have a big prize and then having the guys try. But... you know, this is the skills is the marquee event. It's like anything, like the NBA weekend, the skills, like the Pro Bowl, the skills, like the MLB, the home run derby. It's always the skills-based competition. That's the marquee event. But yeah, we'll see. And kind of finishing off, they had the 2 events. We're not going to talk about them because they were unique to Vegas, and it is what it is. The pre-recorded event in the Bellagio Fountain. Kind of cool. I didn't really like it. And then the aces, it was, you know, the blackjack, it was okay.
I think it was all right. I thought the camera angles could have used some work. Like when they did the pan back behind the guys and they were getting ready to shoot, you couldn't see which card was which. Which I think was a bit of a miss. I mean, Pavelski went absolutely lights in. It didn't miss a shot, called every shot the whole way. But the one you talked about in the fountain, that one was a little... I just didn't like the pucks. Like, can we get?
Why'd you have to hammer them before doing it?
Like, why couldn't they just have the light up pucks beforehand?
Yeah, I
didn't get that part. It just killed guys' times, right? Like,
big time. But Nate, so the breakaway challenge. So the breakaway challenge, a lot of improvements. But so there's 2 sides to this. So I thought they did a great job by the showmanship side of things. By making it unique, come out and outrageous outfits, come out but you still got to go down and perform a crazy move. Trevor Zegras was the only guy to tick that box.
Yes.
Trevor Zegras went down and did the most outrageous move I've ever seen.
It was the most
sick,
impressive thing I think I may have ever seen hockey-wise. The dude had a blindfold on. He's spinning around with one hand on his stick, keeps the puck on his stick, and then finishes it off. Finishes 3rd place.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the scores, I was like, someone whipped a 9 up. A 9. I was like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, and then you got Jack Hughes came out with like a magic trick. It was okay, and then you've got Alex DeBrincat coming out with Derek Carr and the receiver there, Hunter Renfrow, from Vegas, and kind of did the whole hangover scene, but he didn't pull off a good move.
Yeah,
and then Alex Pietrangelo comes out and like with like drummers and like lights up.
Carrot Top was in the stands. Carrot Top
going nuts.
Like it was like two. Like,
is that an actual person?
Carrot Top?
Yeah,
yeah. He's like a prop comedian.
Oh, okay.
Right? He's like
because Kevin Biesca was a Carrot Top is into one, and I was like, is he allowed to say that on air?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, like, no, it's Carrot Top. Yeah. But I mean, he was a well-known punching bag in the early 2000s.
Okay,
it's just mind-blowing that he was that was the last guy I thought.
Anyway,
I heard someone screaming at first. I was like, "Holy smokes, is that Kevin Hart?"
Yeah. And
then it pans over. I was like, "It's Kevin. It's Carrot Top."
Yeah, I mean,
Carrot Top.
The guy was going out. He was in one for sure.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I think a lot of the guys were, and obviously a fun weekend for all of them. But I think there's still some tweaks to be made. I'd love to be on the board and in the room while brainstorming the event. But yeah, I think moving forward, I think there was some improvements. I enjoyed the All Star skills, the All Star game. Obviously, the Metropolitan Division wins. Claude Giroux with the most valuable player, and he'll be on the move soon, Nate. So we'll be watching that. We'll talk about that a little bit on probably in a week from today about where we think where we speculate he might go.
Yeah.
But we're moving into quarter 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast, episode 14 of season 2. Nate, it's been a kind of a week in the NFL, which kind of a down week. We've got the Pro Bowl going on in Vegas.
Yep.
A lot of head coaches changes. All right, I'm going to start reaming these off, Nate. Josh McDaniels, former offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. We're going to miss him greatly. He's heading to Las Vegas. He's going to take over the head coaching job there. Dougie P. Peterson won the Super Bowl against the Patriots, coaching the Eagles. Took a year off. Will now be coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you'd have to think that there's going to be a massive improvement there from the clown act that went on with Urban Meyer there this year.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it would be hard to not be.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So we hope that Dougie P is not at the bar, getting young college girls to dance on his lap. But Kevin O'Connell, former Rams, well, he is the Rams offensive coordinator, will be competing for a Super Bowl. He has announced that he will be the head coach of the Vikings. Mike Blurfus, I think that's his name. Colts defensive coordinator, will be taking over for the Bears. And then we've got Canadian Brian Dabble will be taking over as the head coach for the New York Giants, Nate. Some serious controversy here, though.
He's the second Canadian head coach in NFL history. What is the controversy, Greg?
Well, Nate, Bill Belichick. So we all remember.
Okay, gotcha.
So Brian Flores, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Flores, heck of a football coach, was the defensive coordinator in New England, I think, for 3 seasons. Won a Super Bowl, maybe 2. He got hired by the Miami Dolphins and had a couple good years. Gets fired this year. I'm not certain why he got fired. He had a great year. They started off, I think, 0-7, ended up being just around 500, had a playoff hope. Gets fired. And so Bill Belichick this week finds out that Brian Dable, also a former New England Patriot coach, gets hired and he's going to be the guy in the New York Giants organization moving forward. Bill Belichick sends a text to Brian Flores, who's been fired by the Miami Dolphins, and says, congratulations on the new job. Everything coming out of New York points that you're going to be the guy. But it was actually meant to be sent to Brian Dable. So he sends it to Brian Flores, who hasn't had his interview for the job yet. His interview's in a few days. So you might think, okay, that's not a huge deal. Well, in the NFL, there's something called the Rooney Rule, something that was implemented in 2000. The Rooney Rule is in place because there's not enough black head coach, black management, black owners. There's no black owners, but people of African-American descent were trying to get into the league, and they're more than capable of being coaches. And so you have to interview at least one African-American for the job every year. And so now that Brian Dable was hired before Brian Flores was interviewed, Brian Flores is now suing the NFL for racism. We're not going to speculate a ton on the situation, Nate, but crazy events unfolding in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to picture being in Brian Flores' shoes and getting that text, and you'd be like, dude, are you kidding me? It's like I don't even have the interview for like nearly a week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's obviously a miss by Belichick, but it's a shame that, man, I feel like you got to kind of run through too and just at least give everyone the shot.
Well, it's a rookie move first and foremost on the New York Giants part. I mean, I've never been in the hiring process of an organization. Probably will be in the next year or two. But yeah, I mean, you've got to go through all the candidates because you can't make a decision after your second one with 3 left.
You never know, right?
You have no idea.
You're gonna get to one guy and be like, yeah, we'll take this guy, and then how do you know like Flores isn't gonna get the job like somewhere else and then just absolutely go off? It's not like he was bad. Like, you know what I mean? They had a tough start in Miami, but he nearly brought them back.
Beat Belichick 6 times through his, or 4 times. But anyway, it's unfortunate. I hope Brian Flores gets a job because he's a heck of a coach. And if he doesn't, I hope he comes back to New England because, I love the man. I think he's a heck of a coach. And it's honestly, it's disheartening. We'll be following that situation closely, though, Nate. But it was Pro Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. Obviously, both the NHL and NFL were hosting there.
I was going to say, what a weekend.
I mean, just incredible. And I think for the NHL, Nate, we didn't talk about it, and for the NFL normally goes to Hawaii. I like the idea of being Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami. Keep it in those southern states, have 3 or 4 venues, because one, it gives the players a chance to maybe go lay on a beach when they want or have fun, celebrate. If you're having it in Columbus or if you're having it in Buffalo, it's like,
it's so much less likely that stars are going to go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because especially when you have that week off, it's like, well, let's get somewhere hot for a bit.
100%.
So if at least you go down there, you take the family with you, go to the All Star Game, it's so much better than, like you said, Buffalo or Columbus. Like, I just can't see those cities happening again. Like, obviously, they're going to be balloting for it. Like, they're going to want it in their city.
For sure.
Just don't see it.
A few events that the NFL does that I would love to see the NHL implement. We didn't really talk about the new events that the NHL should bring in, but one they do is dodgeball. I love that. I love dodgeball. I think that's such a fun event. And even if the NHLers did that off the ice, did a dodgeball game or on the ice.
I'd say on the ice.
Yeah, on the ice.
Take the gloves off and just do a dodgeball game. It'd be sick.
So sick. Great job there. They do the fastest, so similar to the fastest skater, they do fastest runner. They do heats. Super fun event. Some accuracy shooting. So a lot of the same things, but the NFL does such a great job too, like nicest catch. But they do some unique things with the DBs are defending this huge, it's almost like a goalie. It's a soccer goalie net filled with holes. So the quarterback's like 25 yards back trying to rip it through these little holes that are worth different points. And, and the defender's there like a soccer goalie trying to pick it off and trying to deflect them.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of a cool event there. Mac Jones won. Is that any good?
Vintage.
But yeah, it was super fun, and just to kind of conclude the NFL talk. Obviously, we're super excited for the Super Bowl. Cincinnati traveling into Los Angeles, so we will be having Brad Evans on, big NFL guy from Bally Sports. So he'll be coming on Friday to break down some of the betting tactics we should be taking for the Super Bowl. Obviously, we'll be all over the betting scene during that, and I'm really looking forward to having Brad on, Nate.
It's going to be a much-watched episode. I know I'm going to get some serious insight on some betting stuff because I'm not sure what the free bet's going to be. I mean, I'm obviously throwing that on the overtime again, folks.
Yeah.
That's already set in stone, but I'm ready to do an absolute mammoth parlay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to be sprinkling some yellow Gatorades, maybe some blues. I don't know yet, but we will see. Have a lot more info on Friday, so tune in for that one. That'll be a good one.
I'm probably going to be all over the Cooper Cup, over yards and a touchdown. Like there's going to be, we're going to have.
There's. Oh man, that's the beauty of it. You just go take a look through all the props and not even the props, just everything. There's so many things to bet on.
There's some that I will avoid. There's some that I'm going to avoid. Like I'm not a coin toss guy. Like for me, it's like that's outrageous.
Well, how can you? When people throw the coin toss in, you'll see a bunch on Instagram too. It's gonna be like some guy's gonna put a buck down on like 18 things and it's gonna hit or something.
Yeah.
But like to start your giant parlay with a coin toss is wild.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it is.
I could never do that.
No, I'm with you. But that will conclude quarter 2 of episode 14 of season 2. Nate, it is time for this week's halftime show. And the halftime show is brought to you by Greg and Nate from the Daily Intermission. Follow along on TikTok, Instagram, and as well on YouTube. But Nate, kind of break down how this playbook goes.
Well, I mean, most of the folks are probably fairly familiar with the playbook, but what happens is we're going to read out something to each other. I will go to Greg. Greg will go back to me, vice versa. And we're going to just see what the other person will do in that situation. So, fan favorite playbook. So I will start it off here, Greg.
All right.
We're getting here. We're going in hot. Just where I did not get to see the movie. I was hoping I did, but I have the question ready. Greg, you're getting cast in Jackass, and you get paid $1,000 per stunt, so you can go as long as you possibly physically can.
Okay.
But the first 3 events are the bungee jump outhouse, which I'm sure most have seen, the taser hall, and medicine ball dodgeball in the dark. Do you do it? Do you need me to explain any of the events?
No. Well, the taser hall, can you kind of...
It's a long, narrow hallway.
Yeah.
And they have tasers hanging from the roof, hanging from the sides. There's ones like flying through the middle. So it's like you're basically just running through getting shocked.
Okay. I'm going to say no. I don't do this. And it's for the sole fact that I can't handle feces. And the bungee jump getting covered in feces, that's disgusting. That one, I'm not great with, like, I don't know if I could get tased a bunch. The medicine ball dodgeball, I think in the dark, I think I could handle. I think that'd be one event, but $1,000 is not enough.
Imagine taking... No, per event, yeah. I was assuming they would get easier as they go.
Okay, yeah.
So you just got to get kind of through those first. But then again, there's not really any easy stunts.
No, then you got Francis Ngannou punching you in the nuts.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, you got honey around your testicles, and there's bees stinging around or something. You know, like it's just crazy. The amount. What did they do? Tetherball with a beehive once.
Yeah.
Tetherball with a beehive. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I kind of respect that. I don't know. It would be tough. The bungee jump one would be.
It's just disgusting.
It's disgusting.
All right, Nate. You are the Bachelor. We talked about it last episode in the pregame.
Mm-hmm.
You're down to the final 3 women. You're in love. You know which one you're going to propose to at the end of this, but it's Fantasy Suite weekend. You have to bring all of these fine women into an overnight date. Do you take all 3 of them to the overnight date, risk the chance at the one that you're in love with, the one that you know you're going to be getting very upset, having that in the back of her mind moving forward? Or do you say to the producers, I can't do it. I know who I love. I'm going to propose to this woman and send the other 2 packing. What's your play?
Well, the play is I'm going to put on a little bit of a show here.
Okay.
For the girl.
Okay.
I'm going to go in, say I'm going to the producers and being like, listen, I can't do it. I'm in love with her. They're going to be like, what the producers are going to do? They're going to be like, listen, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Because we need the TV time. And I'm going to be like, all right, you're right. And I'm going to go there like, listen, babe. Producers telling me I got to do all 3, so I think I'd probably just end up doing all 3.
Okay,
and by that I mean the honeymoon suite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like you know what I'm saying.
That was weirdly worded, Nate.
Poorly worded.
Yeah, yes, it was.
I've got a habit of that, but yeah, I think you may as well.
You're going in for it.
Last hurrah.
Okay.
Yeah, do the honeymoon suite, see what happens, get some TV time. Man, they're gonna make you do it anyway on the show.
Yeah.
So you may as well just do it.
Maybe you just like go to second base or third base with the other 2. Okay.
Doubtful.
Okay.
Why is the camera blinking?
I'm not sure. I think it's because it's charging.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be cut. All right. So I guess it is mine now. Okay, Greg. Second one. You have to become one garbage superhero for the rest of your life. We're talking Robin, Aquaman. These guys that just have no abilities but are somehow superheroes.
Okay.
Which one are you taking? Aquaman just summons fish. No.
Is that what he does? He's got like a trident?
Yeah, something weird.
Yeah, you got to be a dust superhero. What's your play? Give me Robin. Just to be in the presence of Batman, pretty legendary.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't get the fame and you're kind of
but it's kind of a residual thing.
Yeah. 100% is the residual thing.
You guys know Batman?
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm Robin, and we work together.
Yeah, it's like you probably heard of me too, and it's probably not. I'm dust.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robin, not a bad
I'll go
choice.
with Robin. All right, Nate. You're on a cruise ship with your family. Obviously, cruise ships probably not the most ideal or the most demanded places to be in the time of COVID, but you're on one. You're enjoying it. You're in the middle of the ocean, though, and you understand there's alerts going off. There's complete panic on the ship. It's going down. It is going down.
This is like my worst nightmare.
The ship's going down. And what's your play?
So how many of my family members are there?
You've got 3 kids.
Oh, my goodness.
And your wife.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I mean, first things first, you got to keep the kids safe and the wife.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to go down to the bottom floor, get a life raft, try to grab whatever food I can. I'm not sure what food to take, though. What's going to last? Like, if I'm going to take some canned goods, I need a can opener. or at least a sharp knife, which I'm gonna have to have anyway.
You're biting through that thing to open.
I don't know if I'm biting through a metal can.
It's in savage mode now.
I guess, yeah. It's not like, well, we can't eat it.
I think the biggest thing no need is you round up everyone and everyone sticks together from there on out because it's hectic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that would be it. And I would just try to grab as much food as I can. And then on the life raft, I mean, just try to do the best I can. I'm terrified of the ocean. Terrified.
So am I.
Like, being out there, man, I would probably be in an anxiety-induced coma within an hour.
I got a story for you here, Nate.
Okay.
I was like, shoot. I must have been like 7 or 8 years old, and we used to rent a cottage out on the South Shore, right on the ocean, and we were out in a canoe, me and my cousins. I was like maybe the second oldest in the boat. There was like a 13-year-old. I was 7 or 8, and my uncle was in. We had the two canoes tied together. There was 4 of us in each one. He was the only man. The canoes broke apart, and we started drifting towards like out into the ocean. Like we were probably like, I don't know, like a couple 100 meters offshore, and like 7, 8-year-old, a 13-year-old, and like we're like it was scary, it was terrifying, and I mean for me like deep sea fishing, like all of those things in terms of like being in the middle of the ocean, like I don't care for, I don't do it.
Same.
Yeah, there's just even when I'm like tubing in a lake and I fall off the tube, there's this eeriness of the lake. I'm like looking around. I'm like, all right, get back here.
I know. And then you see like whoever's driving the boat, they're putting on a bit of a show. Get over here. Like, it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like these life jackets are from 1946.
Yeah.
No one has an updated life jacket.
And for all we know, there's 10 different sharks coming for me in this saltwater or in this lake, freshwater lake.
I always worry about leeches, man.
Yeah.
You ever had a leech on you?
No.
Oh man, I had one when I was a kid in between my toes, and I was literally screaming in fear. You can't get them off. You gotta rub salt on them. Ooh. It's the most disgusting, creepiest thing ever.
Yeah, you hate hearing that.
Oh man, that actually brings up just a quick story. Just when you were talking about the ocean.
Yeah.
When I was like 6, my family went whale watching, so we're out on the boat, and like,
was it in Digby?
I have to imagine. Probably, yeah. So anyway, we get going, and we're getting out there, and we probably got, man, like not that far, and I panic. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Anyway, man, I was like, I need to go home. Like, I need to go. I'm talking to the head guy driving. Like, I'm like 6. I'm like, you got to turn the boat around.
Turn it around. I don't
feel good. Dude, we turned the boat around for the entire boat. Got turned around because I was being a little weasel.
That's hilarious.
It was so ridiculous looking back. Now they turned the boat around for a kid. All right, Greg, last one for you. You wake up in the middle of the woods. You have to survive for a month before anyone can get to you. I'm just curious to know, what are you capable of doing? And what is going to be your main source of food out there?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I think I could start a fire. I think I really could. It would take me a few hours. It might even take me a full day to figure it out. Like I can compile brush and dried wood, and I can. But just like the flint and the wood and like trying to figure out that, I think it might take me a little bit. But I think fire's first and foremost, and then for food, Nate. I mean, like raccoons or squirrels or deer, but deer are elusive. Like I'm not gonna like I can make a spear. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could survive a month in the woods, man. I really don't.
You might be able to sneak on a deer, though, if you get, like, the right thing. I saw some deer the other day, man. They were just standing in the middle of the street.
Okay.
They didn't even move. They're just dumb, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine if you could just, like, sneak up and, like, stab it.
Well, like, that's where the saying comes, deer in the headlights. Like, you can be flying in your car, and they're just staring at you, and you're like, buddy, get out of the way.
You ever see that with cats, too?
Yeah.
You're like driving down the road and the cats are on the side of the road and you're like, okay, just stay there, buddy. Like I don't need to, you know, and then they wait until you're about there and then they run in front of the car. I've seen it happen so much. I'm like, holy smokes, guys.
Just testing out one of those 9 lives.
Yeah. I dare you. Yeah. Get out there. But
all right, Nate, to wrap up the halftime show, you're on America's Got Talent. You're under the bright lights.
Yep.
You have the 5 minutes to put on an act for America. You're on television, national television. The judges are ready. You've had no time to prep. You're heading out on stage.
I'm just getting like thrown out there.
Yeah. What's your play?
Oh man, like I don't know any magic tricks. You know, I would probably default to try and do some stand up or something. But
for sure.
But with not like looking over, I haven't looked over a stand up set in at least a year.
Yeah.
So you know, I would probably just be throwing random stuff out there. I would just try to
Just start beaking them.
I might even just try to improv it on stage and just go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's just all you can do, really.
Yeah, really. Like, I would just try to do some stand up, I guess, or try to be something, or try to sing and just make one of those viral clips that's gonna be for sure. You know what I mean? Like that would be hilarious.
Remember in like the early 2000s, the she bangs.
Yeah.
Oh baby, like she moves.
They always put on like somebody who's just had no shot.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe I could be that
for sure.
Because I can't sing.
No.
That.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the halftime show brought to you by the Daily Intermission merchandise. You can find the merchandise in our link in the bio on Instagram and on TikTok. Also, it's fire stuff. So make sure you go check out the Daily Intermission merchandise. Nate, moving into quarter 3, we are talking National Basketball Association. A trade headline the news this week, Nate. Former Toronto Raptor Norman Powell, as well as Robbie Covington, 3-point specialist, will be heading to the Los Angeles Clippers. In return, the Portland Trailblazers will get Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson. I was, this trade, these trades like this happen all the time in the NBA. I was interested in, do you think Kawhi Leonard said something to the management, was like, I'm a big fan of this guy, bring him in?
Yeah, there's definitely an outside chance. He's played with them, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, in Toronto. Yeah. So, I think it would be so interesting to see, like, how much pull, like, these star guys have. Because I remember there was the big, like, Jack Eichel is the GM of Buffalo kind of thing, like, joke a long time ago. But, like, when you look at LeBron... LeBron is going to go in there and be like, listen, I am the GM now.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it'd be really interesting to see like how much pull they have like on a behind the scenes thing. They would never show it.
No, exactly.
You'd never see it, but.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Norman Powell just signed a deal as well. And it was like 5 years, $90 million.
Yeah.
He's heading to Los Angeles. Will join. Kawhi hasn't played this year yet, so maybe he'll be back in the mix. But they're in a playoff spot. And
a lot of trade chatter going around too. What is it? The Ben Simmons? Is it Ben Simmons or I know Harden to the Sixers, right? There's like some kind of like entry level chatter?
Yeah, there was. James Harden was the headliner of the week outside of the trade. Kind of talking about how he's not satisfied in Brooklyn, and I'm excited to talk about Brandon Scoop B. Robinson about this because how does somebody close enough to James Harden say, yeah, I'm just really not satisfied with what's going on in Brooklyn, and then make a headline up? This is where I just don't buy the media all the time.
Yeah. There's always stuff that's getting blown out of proportion. For sure. It's just the way it is.
But then Kevin Durant came out yesterday and said, no, listen, we want James. James needs to stay here in Brooklyn. So I don't know what's going on. Obviously Philly, they're eager to get rid of Ben Simmons, but they need probably a lot in return. Ben Simmons is a great player. But yeah, we'll see. James Harden, I don't know if he's going to be leaving or not. This guy, how much is it going to take to satisfy this guy? You're playing with Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and
that's what I was thinking before. I'm like, well, man, like, what do you? Yeah, like, where else do you want to go? Like to the Mars to play with the guys from the movie Space Jam? Like, what else can you need? I was thinking it was an interesting perspective here. Is like, so you saw like obviously the Harden like maybe to the 76ers trade. I was just like, man, that's so crazy that like two teams, if the trade ended up happening, two teams that are like so close in the standings. Yeah. They're both going for it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, it would be so weird to trade a guy like that to not only a team in the same conference, but a team in the same division. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. You picture that in any other league, and it's like,
it's not happening.
Picture that in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not happening.
You know what I mean? Like, it's...
it's not crazy. Happening, and like you said, both at the top of the Eastern Conference, separated by only a couple games. Yeah, I don't see it happening in season. I don't see that happening. But the rumors continue to swirl.
There's always something with Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, there is. It's funny you brought up LeBron James earlier too, Nate, because he came out this week, and a lot of speculation for a long time has been that when Bronny James enters the league, he's going to stick around and play with them. I think that moment will be one we remember in sports. That similar to the Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods. That blew up media. If LeBron James can play a season with Bronny, how special would that be?
It would be so sick.
Yeah.
And, obviously he would go wherever. Wouldn't matter because, Bronny's not going to have a whole lot of pull on where he gets drafted.
Exactly.
That'll be something I'm going to probably bring up to Scoop B as well. I'm interested to see, like, how legitimate of a prospect is Bronny?
Yeah.
I really want to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's just like, is this guy going like top 10? Like, what's the chatter here?
He's grade 11 now.
Yeah, I think that's right. So it's like, and when he was in grade 10, he was not like he was small. Like he wasn't
he's
big
cramming now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's sick watching those highlights on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
That's one thing that like the high school basketball leagues and those get a lot of attention, a lot of media. Like
in the States.
Yeah, like people follow those closely.
Yep.
But Nate, the Raptors, Fred VanVleet, the Raptors have been on an absolute tear. Scotty Barnes has been playing incredible. Pascal Siakam looks unbelievable, and Freddie VanVleet named to the All Star team for the first time. And man, this guy's story, man, undrafted, it just, is now, kind of the captain, I would say, of the Toronto Raptors. I know there's not captains, but
such a fan favorite though.
The heartbeat of the team. Yeah. And he truly is just such a dog out there. He's got that dog mentality, great shooter and great guy in the backcourt for the Toronto Raptors, and really excited for him, man. I love an underdog story. But the Raptors, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. I mean, Scotty Barnes, it looks like they've got a great player in that pick. They took him 4th overall. But like, do you wait? Do you wait and see? I mean, you still have a young core. I mean, do you go sell some picks and try to get better and go for it? Like, I think for me, I think it's patience is what you do. Develop Scotty for another year. Wait on the realistic run, and really try to survey the landscape and see who might be available in years to come.
I think that's probably the play too. Is kind of just like wait it out a little bit, because they're in such an odd spot right now that I'm just a big fan of letting your prospects marinate a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not like, if I was a GM, I would have such a hard time giving up on like such a young prospect early. Yep. So it's like, I don't know. I would wait it out, see what happens, then see if he's the real deal, and then if not, then give him the old ship.
For sure. Try
to expand it.
Just kind of finally, we've got the All Star Game coming in a few weeks, and we'll have Brandon Scoopy Robinson on for it and previewing that. But a lot of people verbally upset online about LaMelo Ball, sophomore point guard out of Charlotte, not making the roster. And we hear this all the time, Nate. This is a snub. This is a snub. Yeah. But when we're talking snub talk, I need to know who they're replacing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yes, you're verbally upset that he's not in the game, but who are you taking out?
Yeah.
And and I need to have the other half of the equation to understand what the argument is. But yeah, a lot of people are upset about LaMelo. He's going to be an incredible player for a really long time. He is insanely good. I love watching that guy play. So the Charlotte Hornets have a fun little team there, and Michael Jordan must be happy about that.
No doubt. Another guy who was kind of upset about a snub, he brought it out on himself. Anthony Edwards. Did you see that?
Oh man,
he's just like, is it kind of drama-y to you?
Anthony Edwards is, dude, he is outrageous.
Dude, I know, but like he's like, yeah, it's like, dude, I'm not even expected to go. It's like same as Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I was surprised, and then he said he was surprised he even got to the Rising Stars game or something. It's like, well, dude, like, again, like, who are you replacing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this year he's having just such a great year. I mean, last year he was kind of slow out of the gates. Obviously, the #1 pick for the Timberwolves. But man, he's electric. Did you see the other day, Anthony Edwards? So yeah, it's a sophomore season. I mean, he's had a few 40-point games for the Timberwolves, but he is ordering McDonald's during his interview.
No.
Yeah, he's on like a DoorDash or Skip the Dishes app, and he's in his interview. He's like, yeah, that's a Coke with no ice, Big Mac, and nuggets, and he's just like going on. He's like, sorry guys, I had to order my McD's, and he's just such a character in the media as well. But yeah, Anthony Edwards, he's having a great year. Yeah, I don't know about All-Star yet, but he certainly will be. He's an electric character. That will conclude quarter 3. Nate, quarter 4.
Here we go.
Of episode 14, season 2.
Buzzing right along today, folks.
We're talking PGA Tour. We're talking Pebble Beach Pro-Am. And we're talking your one and done of the week. You said enough is enough. I'm not taking these sleeper picks. I'm all over the best guys in the world. Patrick Cantlay leading going into the final day, man. This guy, I'm a little worried for you, though. There's 2 guys I'm going to mention that might run him down today.
All right, let's hear it. I know one of them is going to be Jordan Spieth.
100%, yep. 1 stroke back.
Right there. They're even.
Oh, they're
tied right now
at 14?
Both at 14, yeah.
Okay, so they're one back.
Spieth went 9 under yesterday.
Yeah. And he's playing Pebble again. That was at Pebble.
Oh, boy. Seamus, as we said, he's fallen off a bit.
Yeah, he had a bad day yesterday.
Yeah. Didn't fall off that much, but yeah, I mean, 3 over yesterday is going to... It's going to hurt the scorecard, folks.
Oh, my goodness. Especially after setting the 36-hole scoring record, back-to-back 64s.
It's so funny. I know we've talked about it a bunch, but like when you look at Seamus Power, it's like we're saying like he's 3 over. It's like that is going to hurt the scorecard. And it's like if it was like just the pro to amateur, if I walked out of there, I would be Oh my God, I'd leave the course in a limo.
Scorecard's getting framed.
3 over. Dude, I have my 78 on my fridge. Telling me a +3's getting over.
No, but yeah, I mean, like you said, Nate, shame his power. He was off to a helicopter start, kind of fell down. But yeah, it's going to be super fun to watch. Pebble Beach today. But I did want to bring up Nate. I mean, so Cat Lake, guy Jason Day, again, is my one and done pick. He's a few back. He's 4 back. He's -11. So we'll see what he can do today. But yeah, it's outrageous. I mean, so I'm watching coverage yesterday of the golf, and just the celebrities, the eclectic mix. I mean, you've got Josh Allen, quarterback of the Bills, playing with Keith Mitchell. He's out there, you know, banging it around. Carlton doing his dance. You got Schoolboy Q playing, and it's so funny because the commentators, it's the same line every time. And here's Schoolboy Q, loves the game of golf. He's at 11 handicap here at the par 3. You know, and it's like, and we're gonna move over to Bill Murray. Loves the game. It's like, well, clearly they love the game of golf. I mean, they're playing on a PGA Tour event.
Yeah. Mix something else in. It's like Schoolboy Q. It's like also loves banging bass.
Yeah.
It's like he's got some absolute heaters from back in 2014, folks. You may remember from a small dorm room. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty hilarious. It seems like there's been so many of these celebrity events lately, though.
Yeah, 2 in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that ends here shortly.
Yeah.
We got next week. We've got the Waste Management Open, which is just super electric. And then they're heading to Riviera for the Genesis Open. Formerly, I mean, last year, remember Nate, Max Homa won, but remember Max Homa and Tony Finau going head to head. So that event, and that's also the year anniversary of Tiger Woods' car crash. So that'll be fun. Obviously, that won't be fun to reflect on, but the event will be fun.
I believe, just quick, I think the Genesis, that is also the 1 year to when I had that outrageous DFS lineup. Do you remember that? I had the whole top 5.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up finishing first in it. It was ridiculous.
Okay, yeah.
Had like Homa, Finau. M, obviously Smith. Like the boys were just going. And DJ, I think. It was ridiculous.
But just kind of our last note on the PGA Tour, some rumors have circulated this week that Bryson DeChambeau was offered $135 million by the Saudi government to come play in these Saudi Elite Golf League or the Saudi Golf League, and there's just millions and millions of dollars being pumped into this league, and they're really trying to get it off the ground. And Bryson, obviously, who was playing in Saudi Arabia this week, there was an event on the DP World Tour, formerly known as the European Tour, but he ended up withdrawing due to a hand injury. It's going to be interesting to see, Nate. There's going to be a lot of money thrown at these guys. I just don't see it happening, but we'll see moving forward. There's going to be a lot of money thrown at a lot of guys.
Well, I think it was crazy. They kind of put it into perspective. Sorry, it was like just what they offered DeChambeau would be more than Tiger Woods' career earnings.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, if it were me being offered this, I'd be over there and I would purchase myself a fine camel. And I would be, the
face of the league.
I'd be the face of the league. I'm going 135 million, dude.
Yeah, but
I know.
So these guys,
it would be so bad on your legacy.
So Tiger made 121 in PGA earnings, but I mean, we're talking about like 900 million plus in endorsement deals.
For sure.
What is Cobra paying Bryson? He's got a very successful YouTube channel. There's so many different sponsors. Muscle Farm, the protein drink he drinks or whatever.
There's an outside chance, and I say outside, but I'd say it's almost more of an inside chance now that I kind of think about it a little more. But I mean, are those sponsors going to stay?
No shot.
When you go to Saudi Arabia, there's no way,
Man, there's a lot of human rights issues over there as well, and I'm not going to dive into that. But
women can barely vote there. It's like
it's extremely misogynistic. I mean, blood money has been thrown around. I'm not going to get into it in its entirety, Nate, but there's a lot of moral obligation to stay on the PGA Tour and really not entertain this offer. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's been going around for years. I mean, Tiger Woods is not going. I mean, a lot of the stars are staying. It's like it would be like the legacy of a golfer is on the PGA Tour, and it will be. So I don't see it being a success. But we'll see moving forward, Nate, what happens. Just kind of finally, Nate, some UFC talk, and we'll do some more Olympics as the events continue to go on, and as some Canadians get some medals and as some marquee events come in. But our guy Sam Alvey, former podcast guest, fighting last night in UFC Fight Night. It was a fun card, man. It was Brian Battle and Trayshawn Gore fought. They were the what's the Contender Series called? They were there on the Ultimate Fighter, and the Ultimate Fighter is kind of how prospects come into the UFC, and so that was the final, and it was a good fight. And then obviously Sam Alvey, our guy, it was really fun to watch Sam fight, because I mean, obviously we had him on a Zoom call for about an hour, and it just having that relationship. But he got caught in the second round and ended up getting choked out. But we were supporting our guy Sam. I hammered him. He was like plus 380 when I got him.
Yeah, and I mean the books kind of checked out there, I guess.
Yes,
yeah, it was cool seeing the guy. Even I was watching the highlights. I didn't catch the fight last night, but. Yeah, man. His record too. We were talking about it. Is just monstrous, man.
Yeah, he takes any fight. He's not scared. He's
not scared of anybody.
No, he's not.
He'll go.
And gosh, I forget the commentator's name right now. He's a British guy, longtime fighter in the UFC. But he said he's sparred with Sam, and he's got knockout power. So we'll see if he gets a fight. I mean, I know he's on a big losing streak right now. He wasn't happy with the refereeing in his previous 2 fights. Obviously, there was no referee needed here. He got choked out last fight. But we're hoping to see Sam soon, and hopefully he can get a win under his belt.
Yeah, for sure. That's such a funny term. It's like he's got knockout power. Like, imagine being one of those guys that's in the ring. It's like he doesn't have knockout power.
Yeah.
It's like, holy smokes, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what am I going to do?
Some of them are like jiu-jitsu and chokeout artists. And yeah, they're
like Anderson Silva.
Yeah. They're not known for their or for their punching knockout power. I mean, certainly their kicks. And I was watching this kickboxer from Calgary. I forget his name, man. His feet, he must have had a size 14 foot, and he was just absolutely wailing kicks. And I was like, oh my, if any of those kicks hit any part of my body, I'm folding like a launch pad.
Oh, dude.
It's such an electric sport to watch.
It's so awesome. I'm excited for what is the next big one?
It's next week. Israel Adesanya looking to retain the belt versus Robert Whittaker, number 2. Also that big Australian gentleman who does the shoey.
Yeah.
He's fighting Derek Lewis.
Let's go. That's both next week?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, let's feed.
I know. So some serious UFC next week. But that will conclude quarter 4 and 8 of the Daily Intermission podcast. We'll head into the post-game show. I'm going to give out my fire wagon and dog water of the week, and we'll give a few shout outs and some direct some people to go check out some other platforms. But fire wagon of the week for me is Jordan Kyrou. Okay. Talk about a guy who's raised his stock in the NHL, winning the fastest skater, having 4 points in the All Star game. Just for a casual fan who may not have known of the young kid from St. Louis, he's really stormed on the scene, having a great season. 4 points in the outdoor game. Now is the fastest skater in the NHL. Fire wagon of the week for me is Jordan Kyrou.
I like it. My fire wagon of the week is Trevor Zegras.
Okay.
Obviously, I mean, we've got this shootout goal was one of the best of all time in the skills competition.
For sure.
The things this guy is doing to grow hockey is incredible, man. Like all the cool little things he's doing. I mean, you got the flick behind the net. He's trying the Michigan. He's pulling the Michigan. You know what I mean? He's doing this blindfolded stuff. I'm just excited about like what he's going to bring in the near future. Like this kid is a rookie, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's outrageous. So
he's already had 2 of the biggest highlights in the league.
Exactly, right? And he's just getting going. So I'm excited for him. And I think he's going to be a fan favorite and like a league favorite coming up really, really soon. So he's my fire wagon of the week. For 100%.
Sure. My dog water of the week this week, Nate, is the guy by the name of James Harden. James Harden has been verbally upset about his role in Brooklyn and everything going on in Brooklyn. Some rumors just kind of circulating of how he's satisfied. James Harden, pull up your Huggies and play basketball, and we don't, I don't mean that in the sense of the totality of your image, but be happy with what you have. The grass is always greener. You got a great team. You got a championship caliber team this year. Go grind for the team. Go play for our guy Steve Nash. Get meshing with your guy Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and stop complaining.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go into my dog water of the week, and we talked about it earlier, but it is just the New York Giants. Just do all your interviews.
Yes.
Finish all your interviews.
For sure.
You never know who you're going to get. It's
absolutely
foolish. Dog water of the week, New York Giants.
Bang. Well, that will conclude episode 14 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. We're joined next week by Brad Evans, so we're really looking forward to that. Go check out our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
Let's go.